Water surges ankle-high as the machine screams alive, gears locking and unlocking without rhythm. The man straps himself in while the tunnel lights burst one by one behind him. A pressure wave slams the walls, bending steel inward as if time itself is inhaling. He pulls the lever before the tunnel fully collapses. Silence replaces the roar, but the silence feels wrong, stretched thin. The water freezes mid-splash, suspended like glass. The world snaps forward, dumping him onto stone as daylight stabs his eyes. Around him, the city stands unfamiliar and warped. A woman runs toward him through the crowd, breathless, eyes wide, gripping a silver pendant. He freezes like he's seen a ghost. She reaches him, alive, warm, real, and the plaza noise crashes back all at once. He holds her shoulders as if she might dissolve. Sirens rise nearby, too close, too sharp, and he suddenly pulls her away from the open square. His urgency has no explanation. They duck into a narrow street where ash drifts from the sky, coating everything gray. He tells her to go home and not wait for him. She hesitates, confused but trusting, then turns away clutching the pendant. The moment she disappears, his breath finally collapses. Metal shrieks behind him as something heavy skids out of control. He spins just as impact thunders through the street. The sound cuts off abruptly, replaced by ringing silence and scattered debris. He drops to his knees without needing to look. Time lurches again, snapping backward as he screams, the street rewinding in violent jerks. The machine drags him away mid-grief. He crashes into a quiet room lined with chalkboards, the air calm and cruelly normal. His hands shake, still expecting blood. A man with spectacles stands frozen near the doorway, staring at the machine like it shouldn't exist. Neither speaks. Footsteps approach, careful and slow, and an elderly woman peers in, her face tightening with worry. The room feels smaller. He ignores them both, yanking curtains aside to reveal the machine dominating the back wall. Its surface is still warm. Scorched markings crawl along the floor, etched by something moving too fast to see. The man stares, calculating again. He reloads the machine with trembling precision, eyes locked on the pendant now clenched in his fist. Resolve replaces shock. Outside, the city darkens unnaturally fast, clouds folding over each other like layers of ash. Something is already wrong. He seals himself inside the machine once more, ignoring the other's silent fear. This time, he aims far beyond tonight. The machine accelerates past control, light stretching into bands that scrape his vision raw. He can't slow it even as alarms choke the chamber. The city reforms around him in a cleaner shape, taller, sharper, unfamiliar. Screens flicker where stone once stood. Crowds move without noticing him, faces fixed forward as if trained. He feels painfully out of place. A public terminal hums nearby, projecting maps that rewrite themselves. He approaches, desperate for answers. The system recognizes nothing he asks about changing outcomes. It responds only with archived disasters. He retreats, unsettled, as the air vibrates with distant thunder not tied to weather. The ground trembles. The machine pulls him forward again without warning, hijacked by momentum he can't fight. His head slams metal. He wakes to a red sky and a city tearing itself apart. Sirens scream evacuation in broken loops. Uniformed figures grab him, shouting directions he barely understands. The ground splits nearby, glowing from within. He breaks free just as the street collapses, heat blasting his face. Survival overrides shock. Barely conscious, he dives back into the machine. The city vanishes mid-collapse. Time overshoots violently, dumping him into silence broken only by wind. Stone cliffs loom overhead. He blacks out. When he wakes, his wounds are sealed, his clothes cleaned by unfamiliar hands. Figures watch from a distance, wary and silent, communicating with gestures. Their tools look handmade. A woman steps forward, pendant glinting differently than before, and speaks his language carefully. She warns him to keep quiet about where he came from. The others don't tolerate disruptions. A horn booms from below the cliffs, deep and mechanical. Panic ripples instantly through the settlement. Everyone runs. He follows, confused, as traps open in the ground. Creatures burst upward, pale and powerful, dragging people below. He freezes too long. The woman is seized and vanishes into darkness. The horn cuts off, leaving devastation behind. Survivors refuse to speak about the taken. Silence is enforced by fear. A younger survivor guides him toward a forbidden descent hidden behind stone. The air breathes below. They descend into ancient ruins filled with dead technology humming faintly. Recognition chills him. A surviving projection activates, outdated but aware. It explains nothing willingly. The truth leaks out, humanity split by catastrophe, predators below, survivors above. Balance enforced by hunger. A rhythmic sound echoes deeper, like breathing through stone. The path forward is obvious and terrible. He leaves the guide behind and descends alone. The walls close in, warm and damp. A vast underground city opens beneath him, alive with motion and machinery grown organic. He slips and plunges into a pool filled with remains. The smell confirms their purpose. Captured instantly, he's dragged before a towering figure who studies him without blinking. The figure explains survival as design, not cruelty. The surface feeds the below by necessity. It knows his memories. It knows the woman. It knows the machine. A vision assaults him, a peaceful life that never happened. The temptation nearly breaks him. The figure declares outcomes unchangeable, born from choices already made. His machine is proof. His machine is revealed, integrated into the underground system. Escape is permitted under conditions. He agrees outwardly, hands steady despite the lie forming. Survival demands deceit now. As activation begins, he lunges, pulling the figure partly into the field. Time grips flesh. Aging accelerates violently. The figure collapses into dust before screaming once. He stops the machine and sees chaos spreading below. Control is broken, balance shattered. He turns back toward the cages, knowing rescue will ignite war. There's no other choice left. Alarms ripple through the underground city, organic walls pulsing in response. Creatures pour from every corridor, drawn by the disturbance. He reaches the cages and wrenches one open, ignoring claws slashing inches from his back. Time is gone. The woman stumbles free, disoriented but alive, pendant still hanging at her throat. Relief nearly slows him. He drags her into motion immediately, choosing speed over reassurance. The tunnels convulse around them. Creatures leap from above and below, their coordination gone wild without control. Chaos replaces order. They burst upward into open air as the ground seals behind them. Screeches echo but don't follow. The settlement reels in panic, unsure whether to flee or fight. He runs past them all. The machine stands where he left it, ancient and fragile against the sky. It's the last option. Creatures erupt from the ground again, faster now, unrestrained by hierarchy. The chase resumes. He shoves the woman ahead and turns back, grabbing a loose metal gear from the machine. Instead of activating it, he jams the gear into the core. The machine screams louder than before. Time destabilizes instantly, the air folding and snapping like tearing cloth. The ground dissolves. Creatures leap mid-attack and age, shatter, or freeze, undone by conflicting moments. The world fractures. He grabs the woman and runs blindly as the underground city caves in on itself. Survival is instinct now. They clear the tunnels just as a violent pulse erases the entrance entirely. Silence follows. The machine is gone, reduced to warped metal and scorched ground. Time travel ends here. He doesn't mourn it. The weight he carried finally loosens. The woman watches him carefully, unsure whether to trust someone who breaks worlds. He stays. Days pass without catastrophe. The sky remains broken but calm. Survivors begin rebuilding patterns, not structures. Movement replaces fear. He teaches quietly, showing how tools once worked, not how to dominate. The woman listens, translating his caution into their customs. Balance is rebuilt differently. At night, he still dreams of another life, but the dreams no longer command him. Far below, nothing stirs. The predators are gone with their world. He returns once to the ruins of his origin, now meaningless stone. Closure settles in. The pendant catches light as the woman joins him. It no longer represents loss alone. He lets the past remain broken. No repairs. No rewinds. The future here is fragile, but it's real. That is enough. Seasons pass in quick succession, marked by survival rather than calendars. Stories replace fear. The disaster becomes a warning, not a wound. He notices his hands no longer shake. The chase is over. The woman leads now. He follows without resistance. He accepts a quieter role, finally aligned with time instead of against it. The sky stabilizes, fractured moonlight holding steady overhead. He understands now, not all losses demand correction. Some demand endurance. The settlement thrives cautiously, shaped by memory rather than ignorance. No machines remain that can bend time. That era ends permanently. He burns the last notes he remembers, watching ideas turn to smoke. The fire dies. Nothing follows. Time moves normally again. He walks back toward the others, no longer chasing ghosts. The story closes forward. Years later, his presence is remembered more as a warning than a legend. That suits him. The woman's pendant becomes a symbol of survival, not destiny. He grows older without fighting it. Time finally wins, gently. No one asks him to rebuild the impossible. They've learned restraint. The world remains scarred, but alive. That is the victory. He never sees the woman from the past again. He stops looking. Memory fades into context instead of pain. The machine's echo is gone. Children are taught caution, not ambition. The cycle breaks. He accepts his end as part of the line, not above it. The sky holds steady. No alarms. No fractures. His story becomes history without spectacle. No one searches for him when he's gone. He planned it that way. The settlement continues without disruption. Balance holds. Time no longer bends. It only passes. The past remains unreachable. That is mercy. The future grows from restraint instead of obsession. He leaves behind no machine, only lessons. His final days are quiet, unremarkable, complete. When he dies, time does not react. That is the proof he wanted. The world continues forward, untouched by rewrites, finally free.